Welcome back to the deep dive. We've gone through the stack of sources you sent over all the articles, the industry reports, and we're ready to distill it all down.
Right. And today, the mission is really to get past the noise.
Exactly. The whole AI conversation is shifting fast. It's not just about who has the biggest model anymore. Now it's about these much sharper battles.
Yeah, we're seeing these three big fronts opening up. First, there's the whole idea of context, which is Google's new personalization play.
Then there's the legal battle for identity. The Matthew McConaughey trademarks are a fascinating example of that.
And finally, this push for, sovereignty, technological sovereignty. That's the Zhipu AI and Huawei story.
That's the perfect way to frame it. So we'll hit those three major updates first. Then we'll pull back and look at the broader industry moves, the money, the infrastructure, and then wrap up with some new tools you can actually use.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with Google. This is, I think, probably the most significant strategic move we've seen this week.
I'd agree.
They've launched this new beta feature for Gemini. They're calling it personal intelligence. And it's not just another update. This feels like it changes their whole angle on the AI game.
It really does. I mean, for years, the big question for Google was, how do they leverage their biggest asset, all those users, without, crossing privacy lines?
Right.
And this feels like they finally found the mechanism. They're turning their entire ecosystem, Gmail, Photos, YouTube, into this almost impenetrable AI moat.
And the functionality is the key here. So Gemini can now reason across all of it, your emails, your photo library, your search history.
And this is the crucial part. You don't have to tell it, hey, go look at my Gmail.
It just knows. It proactively understands and finds the details it needs.
It's that multimodal reasoning. We saw that great example with the VP, Josh Woodward, at a tire shop. The AI could pull up photos of his car and his emails about a service appointment all at once.
That's incredible. It's synthesizing text and images in a single query.
And your competitors, they just can't do that easily if they don't have that deep integrated personal data to begin with.
Okay, so the rollout is for Gemini AI Pro and Ultra subscribers in the US for now. But it immediately makes me think about data lock-in. I mean, if this personal context is their new moat, isn't that just locking users into a silo that no startup can ever really compete with?
That is the big tension, absolutely. Google's being very careful here. They're emphasizing that it's off by default, and they've been clear that they will not train their core models on your inbox or your photo library.
But the strategy is still there.
Well, for sure. Regardless of the training data, the strategic point is that the race isn't about who has the biggest data set anymore. It's about who has the richest contextual data set. And Google is finally playing its biggest card.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so we have the battle to protect context your data. Now for the second front, protecting your identity. And this is where Matthew McConaughey comes in.
Yeah, this is a huge development. It really shows the kind of legal gymnastics actors and creators are having to do now that AI is blurring reality so well.
He secured 8 trademarks. 8. For his voice, his likeness, video clips, and this is the best part, the audio of his all right, all right, all right catchphrase.
It's almost surreal. A cultural catchphrase now needs federal IP protection.
He's quoted saying it's to create a clear perimeter around ownership with consent and attribution, the norm in an AI world.
And tactically, this is just an incredibly smart legal move.
Why is that?
Well, normally you'd have to rely on state-by-state publicity laws, which are a total mess, a patchwork of different rules.
So going federal gives him a stronger case.
A much stronger, unified case. These federal trademarks give him a clear path to sue in federal court for any kind of AI misuse, voice cloning, deepfakes, you name it.
Yeah.
It gets him out of that messy state law framework.
And it's not like he's anti-AI. He's invested in 11 labs. He did those Salesforce ads.
Exactly. He's just drawing the lines, defining the boundaries of his own IP before it gets completely washed away. This is a real bellwether moment for the creative industries.
It really is. Okay, let's shift from the legal battlefield to the hardware battleground. This is all about the global race for self-reliance.
Right, and the big story here is the Chinese AI startup Zhipu AI. They just released an open-source image generator called GLM Image.
And the model itself is interesting, but the real story is what's under the hood.
Precisely, the hardware. This is a 16 billion parameter model developed using only Huawei's Ascend chips and their software.
So zero reliance on U.S. semiconductors, no NVIDIA.
Absolutely none. This is a direct response to the national drive for technological sovereignty. Now, Zhipu AI says the model is great at generating images with text in them.
And they claim it beats a competitor, Nano Banana Pro, on some accuracy benchmarks.
Right, and for context, Nano Banana Pro is seen as a pretty high standard for open source image realism. But you're right, early user tests seem to suggest GLM image still trails a bit on overall image quality, aesthetically.
So if it doesn't quite beat the top rivals on looks, why is it so important strategically?
It's all about the signal it sends. Zipu AI is already known for its big language model, GLM 4.7. What they're proving here is that China's AI industry can build and release capable open models without touching NVIDIA hardware.
Which is subject to all those export restrictions.
Exactly. The fact that they can do it and release it open source with a permissive license is a powerful statement. It shows their self-reliant strategy is actually working. They might not have the absolute best today, but they've shown they can compete and iterate completely independently. That's a huge geopolitical win for them.
A huge signal. Okay, let's transition now to everything else. The broader market movements, the infrastructure being built as we speak. We'll slow the pace a bit here to really synthesize these trends.
That's a good idea. Because if you connect the dots, what you see is this massive consolidation of capital and talent. The cost to even be in the AI arms race is just forcing these huge financial plays.
And that takes us straight to what people are calling the mega IPO wave. We're hearing reports that both OpenAI and Anthropic are doing preliminary work for public offerings.
And if they go through with it, they could join SpaceX in what would be a truly historic IPO moment, maybe as soon as 2026.
The scale is it's mind-boggling. If all three of these go public, their combined valuations could be close to $2 trillion.
$2 trillion. Just to put that in perspective for you, the money raised from just those three companies could be more than the total from all, 200 U.S. IPOs last year combined.
That's massive market confidence. But why now? Why are these huge private companies suddenly looking at public markets?
It really comes down to one thing: the escalating cost of compute.
The hardware.
The hardware. Building and running these models requires a staggering amount of it, and a lot of it hasn't even been built yet. Going public is the fastest way to get the billions you need to fund those multi-year infrastructure deals and stay competitive.
And it locks in those massive valuations, too.
Yeah, right, before a regulator or a new competitor comes along and disrupts things.
Okay, shifting gears to strategic hires. Airbnb just made a big one. They brought on Ahmad Al-Dal as their new CTO.
And he's the person who led generative AI at Meta. He was behind the Llama models.
So this is a huge get.
It's a very clear statement about their direction. The CEO, Brian Chesky, has been talking about building an AI-powered travel concierge. So they went out and got the expert who can actually build it. It shows the talent war is real.
And speaking of infrastructure, that need for raw compute just keeps growing. OpenAI just signed a deal with the chipmaker Cerebras.
A huge one. They're securing 750 megawatts of dedicated processing power just for faster AI responses, rolling out through 2028.
The scale of these power commitments is just something else. And the big players are doubling down on their partnerships, too. Reports are saying Microsoft is now one of Anthropic's top customers.
Spending close to $500 million a year on their models. It just underlines how deeply these companies are integrating multiple models into their services, even while they build their own, hedging their bets.
Finally, we're seeing this stuff move into the workplace much faster. Slack just updated Slackbot. It's basically a personal AI agent now.
It uses the context from your messages, your channels, your files to give you answers. It's like having a digital chief of staff.
And then in customer service, 11 Labs is partnering with Deutsche Telekom. They're rolling out AI voice agents for 247 support.
And the goal there is really tangible. They want to use these high-quality AI voices to just eliminate customer wait times entirely.
And one quick note for the developers listening. OpenAI's GPT 5.2 Codex model is now available through the Responses API, so it's not just limited to their own Codex platform anymore. All right, let's get into our final segment. The practical tools that are trending today. This is where all that investment actually starts to pay off for you.
Yeah, the application layer is really getting diverse now. It's moving way beyond just generating text.
So we've already talked about personal intelligence, that Google feature that lets you personalize Gemini with info from your apps.
And GLM Image, the new open source image generator from ZAI.
We should also mention MedGemo 1.5. That's Google's updated open medical model. It's very niche, aimed at research and healthcare, but it's an important one.
For learning and professional development, a tool like Jungle AI is getting a lot of traction. It just uses AI to generate flashcards from dense text to help you learn things faster.
And for anyone doing remote presentations, Boom is a really interesting one. It's an AI video presentation tool that works right inside Zoom, Meet, and Teams.
The use case is super clear. You can record these really polished presentations without having to do any editing afterwards. A huge time saver.
If you work with a lot of audio or video, there's TurboScribe. It converts audio and video to text in over 98 languages using AI transcription.
Very useful. And there's also Outlier, which is a platform that actually connects experts, real people, with AI training jobs. It's a reminder that human insight is still a key part of this whole thing.
And finally, Language Tool. It's much more than a spell checker. It's a full grammar and style tool for over 30 languages with advanced rephrasing and tone adjustment.
A really powerful tool for anyone doing multilingual work.
So if we pull all of this together, what's the big picture? I think the core lessons today are pretty clear. The race has shifted from just model size to deep contextual integration like we saw with Google.
Right. And the legal landscape is heating up fast to defend identity, which the McConaughey story really highlights.
And the global hardware race is creating new, capable, and independent players. That's the Zipu and Huawei story.
So if we accept all that, if we accept that this highly personalized context is the new competitive moat, that leaves a really interesting question for you to think about.
What's that?
Well, what challenges and what opportunities does that create for the little guys? For the small startups or even just individual users who are outside of these huge established ecosystems like Google or Microsoft? If all the best knowledge becomes proprietary, locked inside a few closed systems, do we risk centralizing cutting-edge knowledge itself? It's something to mull over.
A truly provocative thought to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you enjoyed the analysis, please be sure to follow and share the show. See you in the next episode.